Hey guys, Tom here. So I was going to call this video top 10 greatest injuries of all time, but you can't really call an injury great, can you? So we're going to go with top 10 most shocking injuries of all time. So let's get right into this. We're going to start with 10, work our way down to number 1. Let's start with number 10. I don't know if you should be proud for getting on this list, but Enzo Amore earns himself number 10 on this list, and you will know exactly which injury I am talking about. It was Payback 2016. We were looking forward to Enzo Amore and Big Cass becoming the number 1 contenders, and it just didn't happen because the Vaudevillains thought it was a brilliant idea to send Enzo Amore back to the bygone era. So they ridiculously threw him out of the ring. His head bounces off the ropes, then onto the mat. Enzo Amore certainly was not a certified G after that one. His head must have been soft, but this one was horrible. It was like the start of the Payback pay-per-view. We were really looking forward to them becoming the number 1 contenders. It was out of nowhere. It was a horrible way to start the pay-per-view. It absolutely sucked. Enzo Amore comes down as number 10 for his concussion at Payback 2016. So coming in at number 9 was Seth freaking Rollins. Hit the music because this one was shocking. Seth Rollins in a match against Kane in a house show. He did his sunset flip. He's done it thousands of times before, but the CrossFit Jesus proved he really isn't Jesus after all, because his knee sadly buckled under the impact and he had to vacate the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. This was most shocking because if it never happened, would we have got Roman Reigns as WWE Champion as soon as we did, and would Triple H be walking into WrestleMania 32 as your world champion? Who knows, but it was so shocking at the time. Seth Rollins had to vacate the championship. We got a huge WWE Championship tournament. We got Sheamus cashing in, Roman the champion a few weeks later, Triple H winning the Rumble, then going into WrestleMania 32 with the title, and then even Dean Ambrose cashing in. Would that all have happened if Seth Rollins did not break his knee on impact with the sunset flip? You will never know, but CrossFit Jesus, can he really be called Jesus after this one? So coming in at number 8, I don't really know who is in the wrong here, but it's just horrific because Hardcore Holly ended up missing 13 months due to this injury because Brock Lesnar 10 years later snapped the streak, but this time he snapped Hardcore Holly's neck 10 years earlier, and it's absolutely horrific. Brock Lesnar going for a move he does all the time, a powerbomb, and Hardcore Holly decides he just doesn't want to sell it. So what does Brock Lesnar do? He just lands him on his neck. I don't know who's in the wrong here. It's absolutely horrific. 13 months for snapping his neck on an episode of SmackDown. It's absolutely horrifying. There you go. Number 8 is Brock Lesnar snapping Hardcore Holly's neck. So coming in at number 7, we've got the Beast Brock Lesnar again, but he really wasn't a beast when he did this. He botches a shooting star press. Now, be fair to Brock Lesnar, he should never have attempted a shooting star press, so kudos to you for trying the shooting star press in a main event of WrestleMania. But he almost does it, but sadly, he lands on his neck. It could have been much, much worse, but he got a concussion from it. He could have broken his neck. He could never have been wrestling ever again, but ridiculous for trying it. And then, even after that, with a concussion, he manages to finish the match, F5 Kurt Angle, and win the hugest prize in sports entertainment, the WWE Championship. But it was horrifying. The main event of WrestleMania, he almost breaks his neck. He got a concussion, still pretty bad, but then walks away with the WWE Championship. So that goes down as number 7. Number 6 is Darren Drozdov. Now, you're probably wondering, who the hell is Darren Drozdov? Now, that is exactly why, because he had to retire after this injury, and he was paralyzed from the neck down after this. What a poor guy. So on SmackDown, October 5, 1999, D'Lo Brown botched a running powerbomb on Droz. He landed on his neck, and it ended up paralyzing his entire body from the neck downwards. Absolutely horrifying. Really, really annoying from him. He worked so hard to become a professional wrestler, and he's never wrestled again. He's in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, Absolutely shocking, and that goes down as number 6. Number 5 is Triple H. Now, when you think of torn quad muscles, you usually think of Kevin Nash, but this time, it was Triple H in a tag team match with Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H versus Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho. It was on a Monday Night Raw on the 21st of May 2001, and some people consider this one of the greatest matches of all time, and it really was just from a simple move. So Triple H broke up a submission maneuver by Chris Jericho, and he tore his quad muscle from it. He ended up missing 8 months of wrestling for it, and later returned at the 2002 Royal Rumble event, and the rest is absolute history because he went on one of the greatest runs ever, but tearing a quad muscle simply from breaking up a submission maneuver in the main event of a Monday Night Raw. Absolutely crazy. There you go. Number 5 is the Game, Triple H. Coming in at number 4, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. So he broke all our hearts when Shawn Michaels crushed a disc in his back in 1998. So it was at the Royal Rumble 98 when Michaels was facing The Undertaker in a casket match. And this should teach anybody, never get in a casket match with The Undertaker. So Undertaker gave Michaels a simple backdrop to the outside of the ring, and Michaels actually ended up landing on top of the casket with the base of his spine. You are cringing right now because it sounds disgusting. It really was. He crushed a disc in his back, and guess how long he missed? He missed 4 years of wrestling for a simple backdrop. That simply puts me off wanting to be a professional wrestler. But there you go, number 4, HBK. Number 3 is Owen freaking Hart breaking Stone Cold Steve Austin's neck. This was pretty shocking. At SummerSlam 1997, Stone Cold Steve Austin had to take a pile driver from Owen Hart, and it ended up breaking his neck and temporarily paralyzing Steve Austin, and he went on to win the bloody match. How does that even happen? Austin actually ended up being plagued by neck injuries ever since this moment, and actually had to retire relatively early in 2003 because of the pain, which absolutely sucks. But Stone Cold Steve Austin goes down as number 3 on this list. So we are almost there to number 1, but number 2 is Joey Mercury's broken nose when it was busted open by a ladder. So it was a fatal 4-way ladder match for the Tag Team Championships at Armageddon in 2006, and Jeff Hardy jumps off a ladder. He doesn't have a clue what he's doing, and he ended up hitting a ladder. The ladder flies in the air, and it hits Joey Mercury in the face, in the eye. He got busted wide open, 30 freaking stitches in his face, and his injury also broke his nose in not 1, not 2, but 3 places, and Mercury was actually temporarily blinded from this, all from Jeff Hardy being an absolute maniac and jumping on that ladder. But that is number 2. And number 1, the one you have all been waiting for, it is Mankind at the Hell in a Cell match. So this is number 1 because it is just such an iconic match, and nobody else but Mankind could get so many injuries in one match. So it was at the King of the Ring pay-per-view in 98, the famous Hell in a Cell match, and Mankind and Undertaker competed in, one of the most famous matches ever, but a freaking Hell in a Cell match. He ended up losing 2 teeth, multiple stitches below his lip, a dislocated jaw, a concussion, a bruised kidney, I need another hand for this, and a dislocated shoulder, all from what happened in that famous Hell in a Cell match. Mankind, Mick Foley, is an absolute legend, but there's no way I could take that to my body. But anyway, that is number 1 for the most shocking injuries. Mankind wins. I'm sure he doesn't want to win, but there you go. So thanks for watching, guys. Smash the likes. If we can go for 1,000 likes on today's video, that would be pretty shocking. Take care. Spike your hair.